What's up, guys? Welcome to the My Parents Office podcast. I am your host, Andrew Diaz. Today, I am joined via Zoom by my co-host, Tom Charubin. Today, we've got Tom and I are going to do a American songs draft with the 4th of July coming up this weekend. Following that, talk a little NBA. GTA 6 is supposed to drop in 4 years, so the wait continues. And the NIL just passed for college athletes. Following all of that, we've got an interview with powerlifter Jake Casey, who just competed in his first meet. So recorded that actually before we're doing this. So that was a good interview talking to him. We talked about his baseball recruitment to Central as well. So before we get into everything, congrats to Tommy Thayer. He won the t-shirt giveaway. He's already DM'd me, so we worked that out. Social media, follow us at My Parents Office on Instagram and Twitter. My Parents Office podcast on Facebook. Go like that. Clips go up on there. TikTok, My Parents Office. Substack, articles from the office. YouTube, the link is in all of our bios if you just want to look it up. It should just be under my name, or type in interview with X person that you want to see. For next week, we've already got one interview lined up with a friend of the show. Came on early on, Dave McCain, Bryant long snapper. So I'm definitely excited to talk to Dave. Connecticut guy, played him in high school. So it's always good to talk to him. And then we're still working on a possible interview that would actually be a real fun one with a college wrestler. Don't really want to give it away in case it does fall through, but we've got that in the works. Actually, I should say a former college wrestler. So an All-American. So with that being said, Tom, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much at all. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. The weather is actually outrageous right now. We lost power for a quick minute, like a couple hours ago. So I was worried that this wouldn't be happening tonight, but it's looking like we're in the clear so far. So I'm kind of happy about that.
That lightning was looking crazy out there. It was like I thought I was gonna hit something or get like close to it when I was driving around. I was like, "Holy shit!"
It was nuts.
But
All right, so we did the summer song draft last week. I think every time, every Thursday when you co-host, we'll do a different type of draft. Like we said, 5 picks. Just go ping pong it back and forth. But for this one, we got the 4th of July coming up, which is an overall great holiday. It's also my birthday, so that's why I always look forward to it as well. But we're going to kind of hop into the American song draft. I'm going to give Tom the number 1 pick. So the stipulations for it, song either has to have America, American, USA, United States in the title, or be about America in general. So that's pretty much, there's a lot of country songs, but I was looking through Apple Music. Tom was probably looking through Spotify. And there's a lot of other songs that do kind of fall into that category that you wouldn't really expect by artists you wouldn't expect. So, I do kind of think I know what you're going to go with number 1 overall. But just let me hear it.
it's partying US. Come on now. Whenever that's the first thing I play on 4th of July. Like I hop in my car. I'm like, all right, this is the one time. Well, no, I can listen to Party USA, whatever. But this is the time where it matters.
That's an ultimate summer and party song. Honestly, whatever, because for our generation, that was the song you heard at every field day, every school get together, because it was huge at the time when it came out. And now it's one of those songs you see a lot of remember when LMFAO, they were big, that whole
5th grade. I remember that.
But that hasn't stood the test of time like Party in the USA. Nobody really plays Party Rock Anthem anymore. Party in the USA still gets played consistently.
I mean, if I hear Party Rock Anthem happening at a party, I might start getting hyped to it. It depends on the crowd itself. I'll be like, we're seeing it. And then, but if it's say, if it's people younger than us, say people maybe 15, 16, what do they know about Party Rock? Nothing.
No.
Party in USA, that's pretty easy to keep going just because Miley Cyrus is still putting out that music.
It's a universally loved song. All right. So with my first pick, I've got a couple that I'm thinking of, but I'm going to go I'm gonna go American Kids by Kenny Chesney. Possibly my favorite summer country song because it's just got the guitar beat. And it's just all about. I don't know if it's about Kenny Chesney, but it's just about growing up as an American kid in the Midwest, which neither of us have experienced, but it sounds pretty cool. So it's just about him talking, doing all that, like playing football in high school, what your dad's like, what your mom's like in that time. And it's just a good American song. So that's going to be my number one pick, American Kids. I feel like I could have got it later, but there are a few other songs I've got in the chamber. So I'm going to pass it over back to you for your number 2 pick.
It's gonna be odd. It's Country Roads. Now hear me out. It's whenever I hear I just think of America, or like when you think of like a basic ass American, you're like West Virginia, or just Virginia just pops in my head. I don't know why, but it just sounds like that's country, that's America. So for me, it kind of correlates. In my head, it works out. That's like, oh, it's American, it's West Virginia, Mountain, all that stuff. That just trust the process on that song.
One of the most like electric things my dad said he ever experienced was he had a friend at the time, Rob Nam, new friend of the show. He's been on once. He's out in Colorado Springs now covering like Broncos and stuff, but he used to cover Pittsburgh Steeler football and West Virginia football. And my dad went down to a game when they played Syracuse, and he said that before the game, and they still do it today, the whole stadium sings Country Roads before the game. So that's just, you combine something like football, which is one of the most American things, and you combine Country Roads, which is about it's just about a state, about what it's like being from West Virginia, and you get about as American as it gets. So Country Roads is actually an underrated pick. I didn't really have that. Oh, yeah. I didn't think of that one.
I go to West Virginia now to see that. That sounds probably that would be the stadium in there when they're singing that. It's got to be something else.
So number 2, I'm gonna go American Pie by Don McLean. It's a song that I heard growing up, and that's another one. It stood the test of time for myself. The Day the Music Died, it talks about when the Big Bopper got into the plane crash, he dies. All that, it's like a 6-7 minute song, but that's one I feel like it's an underrated one that a lot of people know the lyrics to, or at least a full verse in it. At least people know the lyrics to. So that's why I think that gets on there too. Is it's a universally underrated song, but a lot of people love it, and it's got American in the title. So that's how it's going to be my second overall pick. So you've got Party in the USA and Country Roads right now. I'm sitting with American Kids and American Pie.
And it's tough.
It's not easy.
Give me the Jimi Hendrix Star Spangled Banner.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Give me it's something about that performance. It's just the performance itself. It's just amazing. Little odd pick. I probably won't be bumping that the whole entire time, but when you listen to that, it's powerful. That's all.
The guitar in it is unreal. It's just overall, just it's like you said, it is super powerful when it gets played.
If I could see that live,
that would be unreal. So my number 3 pick, I'm gonna go the first, I think, real out of the box one. I'm gonna go American Boy by Estelle featuring Kanye West. That's just honestly that, and Knock You Down, the Carrie Hilson song with Kanye, are 2 of my favorite Kanye features, I think, ever. If you're taking the Watch the Throne album out of the picture, those are my 2 favorite actual features from him. It's just Estelle talking about an American boy that I'm assuming is Kanye West in the song that she's pretty much singing about. Kanye's part in it is great. So that's gonna be my sort of out of the box pick, at least for right now. But yeah, overall great song, and that's one you can bump, I think, year round. And I love Estelle too, super underrated. Yep. So those 2 coming together on a song is just great.
Damn. Number 4 pick. This sounds always tough to me, just because growing up, my household's we're not American nationality, just
Yeah.
being plain honest. So it's always tough talking about like song or like sometimes I feel like out of the box from like American like events, but then I get inside. But like that's just my mind working right now. Just give me American Girl, Tom Petty.
That's a good pick. I was watching Barstool did an America draft, and one of the guys took like, so it was like song, person, landmark, miscellaneous, and like food. And one of the guys took that in the first round. So that was actually going to be my next pick. It's an unreal
Damn,
song.
I took your pick. Shit.
No, I've got a couple other ones in the chamber. But yeah, no, that's I think an underrated one too to actually throw into this. So yeah, I really do like that pick there. Number 4, I'm gonna go with So I've taken. I'm gonna go "Made in America" by Toby Keith. That one's that's like straight America, like inject it right into my veins. It's an unreal song. Because it's just all about how Toby Keith doesn't want he wants America made stuff. He likes saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Same with his wife. They love the flag. They stand for the flag. It's just the most pro-American song that I can really think of, other than probably like the Lee Greenwood one. Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. I should be ashamed as an American. Oh God. But yeah, it's just so pro-America that even like that's just an overall summer song, I think too.
Yeah.
But yeah, hang on, I have to find this link. God bless the USA. God, how did I forget that? Holy shit. So yeah, that's gonna be my number 4 pick. That is a song like I found it last summer, so I pretty much bumped that the majority of last summer in my country playlist. So yeah, that's gonna hop in there.
Solid pick.
Final pick of the draft, number 5 for Tom. What are you thinking here?
I have a couple for the outside, so outside of my top 5, I'll give it to Sweet Home Alabama.
That's so I thought you were gonna go a different way here. I wasn't gonna pick this one. I thought you were gonna go "This Is America," the Gambino song.
That's like my outside like picks. So okay. I got a couple outside picks, and I was like, if we're making it like pro like American right now, I'm like, all right, I got that. So I have outside picks too that I'll say later. That was one of them, 100%.
That's a good one though. I mean, it's an out of the box, I think, because it's not directly like about America. It's about like the state, but it just has that country feel. Like it feels. It's got that summertime, like you play it at a 4th of July barbecue.
Oh, 100%.
So my last pick, I'm going to go "American Idiot" by Green Day.
That was going to be my outside pick because I was like, they're kind of shitting on America. So like, I'll say that for last, but that's a fantastic pick.
Yeah, that one, you're right. They are shitting on America. So it's not, that's like the same as a lot of people will say like "Born in the USA" is a very pro-America song, but it's like the complete opposite. When Springsteen wrote it, it's super non-American, but if I really had to pick, I was between those two. And if I'm going to go with a one that's anti-America in the America category, I'm going to go with "American Idiot." Bumps super hard. And I don't know if you remember when the high school wanted to do the school play.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. Yep.
In Green Day, like when they found out that they canceled it, they like Green Day literally just shit on us, which was pretty crazy. I mean, it's.
I remember seeing that IG post. So I was like, "Holy shit!" Enfield's known for something fantastic.
Yeah, and they were doing like press, like they were on like a press tour, I think at the time too. So they talked about that too. Like that was a big talking point in a lot of that. So I'm like, damn, this is not a good look for us. No. But yeah, "American Idiot" hops in at 5. Do you have like one or two honorable mention?
I mean, the American Idiot was gonna be my honorable mention. "American Dreamin'," Jay-Z.
Ooh, that's a good one right there.
And then "This Is America" was into my other honorable mention as well. Those are my top 3 outside the box.
My other ones probably would have been, like I said, "Born in the USA," I got Red Solo Cup on there. I didn't want to go back to back Toby Keith, and then my other one is Flyover States, the Jason Aldean song, because it just talks about Middle America. Starts off they're on a plane, and like one of the guys just is like, "Why would anybody live down in like Iowa or Nebraska?" And he just goes like, "You've never seen a train go across Oklahoma." And I'm like, honestly, that sounds pretty boring, but Jason Aldean makes me want to go watch a mile long freight train go across the plains of like Kansas for some reason now because of this song. But yeah, so those were probably in my my honorable mention right there. But this was honestly an overall tough draft. I'm sure there are songs that we overall missed too that we'll text about it later and be like, how did we not put that even like our honorable mention?
Is what it is at that point. But we did good. That's all that matters. We got some good picks. Some definitely I'll be playing on Sunday for sure.
Yeah. So next we've got so like you mentioned before we started the NIL passing for college athletes to make money off of their likeness.
And that's huge.
It's crazy. And actually the first guy I was super surprised. I think it's Graham Merentz, the Wisconsin quarterback, created his own brand using his logo. Like there's the Tiger Woods logo, there's the Jordan logo. So now, I mean, I honestly don't think Graham Merentz is going to be like a first round pick in the draft, but he can branch out. Like a guy like a Ben Boulware after he graduated opened up his own gym. He can use like his own logo now, but had he had his logo in college and that logo gets a little bit bigger playing at Clemson for him, and then he carries it to his gym, there's more publicity around it. Graham Merentz can do the exact same thing. Or if he wants to launch like a merch brand after college, he can start using his logo and it'll be well known.
Yep.
And then another big one, Will Levis, who's a Connecticut native, quarterback at Penn State, transferred to Kentucky. His last name is spelled Levis. He's been He's like been up in Levi's on social media. He wants them to sponsor him, which I think would be pretty sick.
They got to work out. And like Levi's isn't like, or no, that's Converse. I was thinking Levi's was in Boston. Never mind. But that would be perfect actually. But just this overall thing for passing, that's just fantastic. You know, these big schools are making millions of dollars on kids just playing football on the field, or just any sport, just in general. But like, they're just getting millions of dollars and they're not getting a single cent. I mean, under the table, yeah, they're 100% getting money. We just don't know about it.
Yeah.
I got like you remember when LSU won and that I forget what was the championship game, and then
with
Odell just went onto the field to start handing everybody money.
The greatest part of that was that I think Jamar Chase was like, those were fake. That was like fake money. And then after Joe Burrow got drafted, somebody asked him about it. He was like, no, that was 100% real money. He's like, I'm in the league now. You can't do shit to me. Like, I do not care. But what sport? I mean, take football, basketball, and baseball. Take like those big three out of it. What sport do you think is going to have like the most people make money off of their brand?
Softball. Are we counting softball in there?
Yeah, you think softball will?
I enjoyed like the College World Series. I don't know why. I was watching some of it. I was like, this is kind of interesting to watch. I'm not gonna lie. And I could see like some of the top names go. I can't name it off the top of my head. But
I was just about to ask, can you name any right
now?
No,
I can't because I'm not that big of I haven't been fully a fan. But you know, these girls can definitely get like some cool like either in town like things or even like smaller brands that can just get money. So I think softball is going to be huge for that.
I think soccer will have a fairly big presence. I also think wrestling will, because Brett sent me a thing earlier today, because I think a lot of people are going to now just try to make money off of their social media accounts. They looked at the Big Ten, and the two out of the three, so the top three guys that have top three athletes in the Big Ten with the highest social media followings are not football players. They're not basketball players or baseball players or even softball players. Gable Stevenson is number one, the Minnesota heavyweight. The next is a gymnast from Penn State. And I think following that is a wrestler, I think Wisconsin. Let me check for accuracy. But I was thinking that's actually pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh no, it's RBY, Roman Bravo Young, the 125 or the 133 from Penn State. And then Michael Jaro, the gymnast from Penn State. That's their 1, 2, 3 right there. Following that is Tua Tagovailoa's brother, Tulia Tagovailoa. And then the rest, I mean, Spencer Lee is in there, who's a wrestler. So three of the top 10 in social media following in the Big Ten are wrestlers. I think that'll be a pretty big market for a lot of people, but I honestly don't think smaller sports benefit from this, like a crew. Honestly, a big one I think would actually be like e-games, because schools are giving those out. Schools are giving scholarships like that out now. A lot of schools are adding that. And I would be curious as to what a smaller, like a sport that almost feels intramural, like a spike ball, is going to do.
That's it. I mean, the only ways I can see is like sports like that. Like I'll even think like hockey too in my mind.
Yeah,
hockey would be big. But I was like, what would they do for a sponsorship? Would be like my main thing. Is like what I'm trying to think, because like when I think of hockey, I think of like we're fighting and we're drinking, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But you can't see like a 19-year-old kid that's playing hockey be like, oh, I'm sponsored by Michelob Ultra now. Like,
right.
Like how could that happen? So it all depends. Like it's the sport first, the popularity, and then what can like other things connect to it.
I think you'll see a lot less. I think we're thinking like Nike hopping in on sponsorships and bigger, like, or not even Nike, but like bigger brands. I think you'll see a lot of these brands just pay an athlete like a Gable Steveson, a Chris Olave, I'm trying to think basketball. Like if Cade Cunningham was still in college, I think you'll see maybe like a Chipotle or a Netflix pay them and do sponsored ads on their Instagram and Twitter pages, and TikTok too, because that's a new platform that a lot of athletes are prominent on. So I think you're going to see a lot of that going on, where it's like, hey, we'll give you X amount of money if you sponsor Chipotle. You just have to put like the hashtag ad with it, but they can be like, before a match or before a game, I love getting a Chipotle bowl. I mean, Zach Wilson coming straight out of the draft, the BYU quarterback to the Jets, he got sponsored right away and got pretty much was like, hey, if you want to get a bowl just like me, go on the app and order it. And he showed out his whole order. So I think you're going to see a lot of stuff like that where like food, like restaurants are going to do that, and maybe streaming services will hop in and say, just do sponsored ads for us.
I'm also like bringing back like the brands, at least like Nike, Adidas, anything like that. I'm thinking like when people know who's gonna be a first rounder, does like a Nike like hit up like a top 3 like draft pick for basketball? They pick them up before, or like start like really like scouting, or like just talking, like say like they're right in before like the draft. They're like, all right, we got him. He's a Nike sponsored athlete now, no matter what, right? Even before he's drafted. So I think more brands are going to start looking maybe into that too, just being like, okay, these are like our top 10, which they already do now, but like they're going to go like more heavily into talks with them and be like, hey, let's get you a sponsorship right now. So that like a Nike sponsorship could potentially happen, but you have to be like some star athlete that's going to be like, you're going to carry this sport for like the next 10 years probably.
I agree with you a lot on that, because I mean, you see it the day after, like a lot of guys get signed. Trevor Lawrence signs with Adidas. I think Lawrence technically had a deal with Adidas once the season ended, because he was wearing cleats like them at their pro day. But officially like inked the deal once he was drafted and like in the NFL. So I think you're just going to see a lot of them. Like if there's a surefire guy, like a Lawrence, like a DeAndre Ayton coming out of college, it's going to be like a lottery pick, a top 3 pick. They're just going to give him that money right away.
It makes sense. I mean, might as well just hop on that bag opportunity right away, start making more money. Easy goes it.
I'm curious as to what like a smaller, like, because you have your tier 1, it's Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. Those are your top 3. I'm curious as to what the tier below that, like a Noble, a Converse, a Puma, Reebok, what are they like? Because this could be big for them. You don't have to give these athletes a lot of money because they're not in the pros yet. You could bank on a guy being a late first round, early second round in like a year before he goes to the draft and give him money. Because that's what, I mean, Puma got DeAndre Ayton, and that year that Ayton got drafted, I think they picked up a few more guys that were top 20 picks in the draft. So Puma kind of made a splash then. I think NBA, you could see Puma and Converse make a bit of a return. Noble, I don't really know where they would fall athletic wise because they don't have
You can do like as like a training, like like, oh, this is me training, this is what I use for training. Like these shoes are what I train with, something like that.
Noble's weird because I don't know if I was talking to you about this, but their two top athletes are Ben Boulware, the guy I was talking about before, who's not in the NFL. He was on like the Panthers practice squad for a year, and then it's Will Greer, who is like the Panthers third string quarterback. Those are like their two top athletes that they're sponsoring, like that I know of at least, which is very odd. I feel like a lot more guys would want to sign with them, or they would be giving money out. But I don't know. I'm curious about that.
It's still a relatively like growing brand. I see a lot more coming. At least like in the gym, I'm seeing a lot more people wear them. So I think give it like another 4 years, maybe 4 years or less. We're gonna see a lot more Noble, just because you see people. They'll find different shoes. Like we see people a lot right now. Like I wear ones to the gym, but you see people like wearing blazers, anything like that. Like what's something different? Oh, Noble has got some really cool designs, got some really cool colors, and they work well in the gym. So give it like 4 years or less, and we're gonna see a big trend happen. I could see it happening.
Absolutely, yeah, and especially you like Jordan primarily when they first came out. I know this was a lot longer run before a lot of their newer stuff came out, but they primarily were a basketball and a style sneaker. Now they're doing football cleats, baseball cleats, and golf shoes. So could Noble break into that game a little bit, maybe, where they do golf? I could see them actually coming out with golf shoes as like the trainers. You've got that, or the runners where you wear those and they've just got the little golf spikes on the bottom. I think that would be a cool thing for them to do. And then you sign a young golfer, maybe one coming out of college or that's in college and he wears those golf sneakers. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for brands like that aren't on the same level as Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour.
Oh yeah. But just
So,
overall win for those people that are playing D1 sports, just any sports in general. They're like, it's been too long where they've just been like the big schools just been making money. Like you look at a school like LSU, right? It's huge, like the locker rooms, all the stadiums, all that. It's just like, all right, there's definitely a lot more money that you could be giving to kids or whatever, or like letting the kids actually make money that are like not on full scholarship, anything like that. So it's good. I'm just happy to see this now.
now where do you fall in the argument of net, like prior to the NIL being passed, the athletes being paid, not off their likeness, but getting like a stipend?
It depends, because like how would the pay go? Are you gonna give like your top like players this X amount of money, or like
No, it would be like a stipend across like all like the whole athletic team. Like
gotcha. Okay.
you're getting like say like I just throw a number like $200 a week. That would be their stipend. I'm personally against it.
Really? Why? Why?
Well, especially at the Division 1 level, I could see them implementing it at maybe the Division 2 or Division 3, where guys aren't on full scholarship or any scholarship at all. But Division 1, majority of a football roster, a basketball roster, those are the sports that cry the loudest when it comes to them getting paid. I think majority of you are on scholarship. You're getting the free education. You're living in the dorms. You have different. I mean, if you look at the Clemson facilities and stuff like that, they've got their own cafeterias there. And that, I mean, I'm using Clemson as the example, but that goes the same for all athletic facilities. UConn's, when I saw theirs, they've got their own full kitchen there.
Yep.
So I look at it as you're getting paid. You're also playing a sport. You're not the same as a student, a normal student that has to work. I don't know. I'm just against overall paying the athletes, but the likeness thing I do fully agree with, because if the school is going to make money off your back, and a perfect example is a guy like a Trevor Lawrence, where when you thought Clemson football, you thought of Trevor Lawrence. He should have been able to make money off of his brand, because he could have had a brand of merch that sold out like crazy. So that's where I fall on it now, especially now with the likeness being passed. I'm way against the athletes getting paid.
I didn't think of it like that. I was just thinking like overall, like we're still watching them for entertainment. Right. I didn't think of it like that. Like most of them are on full scholarship. They're getting, you have all like their stuff paid for, all that. But then again, like I look at it, or I don't think the school necessarily needs to pay them. I would say they get an earning of like if they're on like national television.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're like the hot like 8 o'clock game on a Saturday, right? For example, like give them some of that money that's coming from the viewers or just coming from like the ads, anything like that, because that's like the same way in football. They're getting paid, like we're watching them.
Yeah.
So I know they're getting like cuts of it. So at least like give them, so it doesn't need to be a crazy amount. Just be like, we had X amount of people watch. Here's the money. Here's like 20% that's going to be divided into the whole team. Something like that could make sense. But again,
I just think the only issue with that, like if that like happened, is now it's, well, does every player get paid, both teams? Is it the guys that were playing, the 22 that were playing all snaps? I just think once you get into that world, because then there's all like, I don't know, it becomes a very slippery slope when it gets into that. I don't fully disagree with you on that. I just think there's a lot of flaws in it. If they could iron out a system that really worked out for the athletes and the networks, then I'm all for it. But I just think when you really get into that, it's super slippery slope.
Actually, you're 100% right on that. I wasn't like thinking too much about the other factors. So yeah, I don't know like how they'd be able to pay all that. It's too much. Unless someone's already thinking like this, then it's just too much right now unless they have an actual plan.
Yeah. So we talked, I'm a huge fan of Grand Theft Auto. GTA 5, but I've been playing it since middle school.
Yeah.
And you hear rumors. I don't know, were you a GTA 5 kid?
Oh yeah.
Do you still play it all or no?
I haven't hopped on like a PlayStation or Xbox in like say a couple months now. But I saw it with GTA 6. I mean, that like what, 4 years? It's coming out.
2025 they announced it's going to be dropping. So it's Jesus. Like they gave us blue balls on it. They're like, yeah, GTA 6 is coming out, but you got to wait 4 more years. It's like, oh, sick. The game we've been waiting for like 10 years now, or at least that's what it feels like.
Oh, yeah.
You're just going to be like, all right, now you're going to wait a little bit longer.
Could be mid-20s, just like killing a bunch of kids in a lobby.
Oh, I'm going to grind that game. I'm getting, like, when I get that, I'll be on my own. Like, I'll have a job at that point. Like, I'll have graduated college, like, hopefully, fingers crossed. So, I'm going to grind the shit out of that game. Like, that's...
Well, we better be able to do everything. If I can't walk into, like, some random-ass store, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah,
because I saw that all over like Twitter, like
walk into, which is so dumb in the game.
It's no, like why have it? Like I get it, like for like okay, just how it looks, the aesthetic or whatever. But like, come on now. If I'm not, there's better be like some crazy ass things. So right now in GTA 5, they just keep updating the game. Like the map doesn't get like any new. It's just like different challenges that like from what I've been seeing. But like, there's better be a big ass map. There better be a lot to do. That's pretty much.
The only thing they've added to the game that like has legitimately made it worse because I stopped playing and then like over COVID, hop back on, stop playing. Now I'm kind of back playing it a little bit. They added these guys that like this thing that you can buy. It's worth like $3 million on GTA. And it literally flies around. It's got like homing launchers on it. So anytime you're near one of them, you're going to get pieced by the guy like 4 times. You just go ghost mode on him and hope you can get away from him or go passive mode. So you're literally just getting blown up by these things. I don't know what the name of it is, but it just ruins the game. It literally has ruined the game adding those. But I did hear rumors. I don't know how true it was. Like years ago, people talked about it where they were going to try to make the whole map of the U.S., which would be unreal.
I've heard of making it. We could go across, like we go like to Europe. Heard that.
Ooh.
Connecting all the maps together. Also heard that too, but making it like different, but like having it that big. So we have high expectations on them right now.
And we're gonna get absolutely boned by our expectations.
Oh, 100%.
It's gonna just be GTA 5, new vehicles, a little bit of new stuff, and that's gonna be about it.
Because like they just keep making these drops and like updates. Like what's different you can make from a game you've already basically perfected with GTA 5? Like what can you make differently in GTA 6? Is it just gonna become like how like sports games are? Like, great, 2K releases some new like online modes and they make their player look a little sweaty for more realistic, but still basically the same game.
Yeah.
So is that going to be like the new fall for GTA 6? We're like, oh, GTA 7 like 3 years after that. But it's just like a small upgrade.
2K and Madden really screwed people over because they make the game the exact same every year. Now it literally sucks. Like, I'm a dummy and I buy Madden. I'm not a huge 2K fan. I buy Madden every year because I'm like, I want to play with this rookie. I play with that rookie for about 3 weeks, and I'm like, I don't know why I bought this game. But when the new NCAA college football game comes out, I think that's in 2023. That is going to be unreal.
Oh, that's going to be a good game.
That's going to be crazy because last game was 14. I'm curious. What's crazy is the kid that's going to be on the cover of that game is probably still in high school, which is crazy to think about. Unless they go like with a retro cover, which I could see them doing a retro one between all the years that they missed, where you see like Johnny Manziel on it, Trevor Lawrence,
Yep.
Ezekiel Elliott. I could see all those guys maybe get put on the cover as like the very first one, and then like the following year you do a new cover athlete. But
I could
oh
see
my God, I'm more excited about that than GTA.
I mean, I think it's going to turn to the same thing again. You know, we're going to get that hype of like, oh, it's back, we're playing it, and it's going to be a yearly thing again. It's like we're just playing with different players at this point.
The difference with that and Madden, though, which is crazy, is like their game modes are a lot more fun because you can start as a high schooler, get recruited into like the my career. If you do like a franchise in it, you recruit players, you do all that type of stuff. It's super realistic. I mean, I hope they keep a lot of that stuff in it, and you can like make your own college. You can play that. So like, I'm really that one. I'm real excited for. The second it comes out, I'm buying it. I don't care. They could charge $350 for it. I'm gonna buy it. At that point, I'm so excited for that to come out compared to GTA 6. Like, I don't know, dude. I can't wait for that.
I just like same thing was happening with like FIFA 2. It was just like it was the same thing over and over again. But like you said, it's like it's good. You're gonna be hyped. You're gonna get different game modes every year, and that like that whenever I play sports like games in general, I like playing that career mode of like you make your player. You have to go do whatever you go for like with 2K. You go like this year with like the combine or something like that, or like how it was last year. Madden, you start with high school. I think you did, and go to college, all that.
Yeah, so, you committed to a college, then you played, or yeah. So you start in high school, you commit to a college, then you play like a couple games in college, then you do a combine, and then you get drafted, which was pretty cool.
I just hope like games like when they see that they realize they can add so much more to it instead of like making like that career mode or whatever is like just like 15 hours of gameplay. Make it more interesting. Give us like more options, all that type of stuff. Not just like, oh, here's a game, play it, or like here's a question, there's 2 possible answers you could do. Give me some variety. That's
I agree. So wrap it up a little bit. I do want to talk a little NBA playoffs. Last night Atlanta wins. Like they dominated Milwaukee without Trae Young.
Huge. But the big thing in that game is Giannis.
Yeah, he went down. It looked like he actually got shot. I don't know what actually happened. I mean, if he tore his ACL, I hope that didn't happen.
They said it wasn't. I think that they were like releasing reports. It wasn't anything like too crazy, but he's definitely like questionable. I think that's what the Bucks are putting him as for Game 5. Yeah. But I think it was like an hour before the game, like 9 o'clock-ish, so maybe the game started. I was like just thinking, I was like, what if Giannis gets injured tonight? I was really thinking that to myself. Like, I was like, Giannis could get injured. I could see that 100% happening. And I was like, holy shit, it happened. I was like, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket at this point.
It's unreal that Atlanta played as good as they did without Trae Young. Like, Bogdanovich is a cheat code. Huerter is nasty. Like, those two dudes took over the game last night. Bogdanovich especially, and just played out of his mind. He is a lethal shooter right now. He is about as hot as it gets. And then
turning into a good series.
And then flip to Phoenix. We're taping this on Wednesday night. Phoenix is playing LA. It's 3-2 right now.
Yep.
I think Phoenix closes it out tonight, but if they don't, I think LA wins.
Yeah, if the Suns don't close it out tonight, then that last game against the Clippers is going to be a dog battle probably, but I think the Clippers can definitely pull through. I just don't want. I don't want to see the Clippers in the finals. I don't know why. I just don't want
I
to see
agree
it
with
there.
you.
Like
I agree with you.
I would so much like. I love Giannis, but I want to see the Hawks in the final just because I've been really liking Trae Young.
Yep.
A lot of people are hopping on the bandwagon. I might be too, but like Trae Young has just been amazing. I've been liking his style, being like that bully. So I would just love to see the Suns, the Hawks, because like it's not like a final. You think about the NBA, you think like, oh, you have like the Lakers in there, or like any team with LeBron on.
You
Like,
think
oh,
like the past few years, you think like like Lakers, Spurs, really out of the West, those are the two, and then out of the East, you kind of think
you thought the
Miami,
Nets.
Boston, technically Cleveland, I guess. I mean, they've been so up and down, and then maybe even like I really don't even think Brooklyn like the past few years. Like
I mean,
those,
they had a good year. They had a good season. And in their playoff run, they just shit the bed at that point. They don't have defense. Nets don't have a defense. They just know how to outscore. Because you see like the scores in those games, it's like any Nets game you see is like 140 to like 120. They just know how to outscore. They get a solid defense going. They are going to be dangerous.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Trying to figure out what time do they tip off. Oh, that was game.
Right now.
Clippers game. Hang on.
I think it's happening.
They're playing now. Phoenix is up 12-9 right now in the first quarter. So by the time you hear this, I mean, I'm predicting Phoenix wins tonight. By the time you hear this, what are you going Phoenix tonight?
I'm going Phoenix.
And then you got a Hawks Suns final. That's your prediction. I'm in the same boat.
I mean, it's away at Clippers. That's the one thing. It's away at LA. So who knows how that crowd's going to be.
Yeah, I agree. But so I've got Hawks Suns. I've got Suns winning in 6 in the final. Give me your prediction right now.
I got Hawks Suns. Hawks winning in 7. It's going game 7.
I would appreciate that. As a fan, I'd appreciate that.
As a huge fan, I would like to see Trae Young hit a last shot game winner. That's the way I write it out. That's the way I hope the NBA writes it out, but who knows. But I would like a Hawks Suns, Hawks in 7 is what I want to see.
All right, so that'll wrap up Tom and I tonight. Now we've got the interview with Jake Casey, powerlifter. Tom and I know him both, all three of us Lightning Fitness members. So Jake threw up massive numbers at his first ever competition. So expect to hear him back on the pod at some point when he's got another competition coming up, because it was an awesome interview talking to him. But hope you guys enjoy. Oh, shit.